For most of human history, the Arctic was completely useless. A frozen wasteland. No cities, no agriculture, no trade routes, just ice. But today, something strange is happening. The world's most powerful countries are suddenly racing north. Russia is building military bases in the middle of the Arctic wilderness. China is investing billions into polar shipping routes. The United States and NATO are scrambling to expand their presence. And the reason why is buried beneath the ice. Because under the Arctic Ocean lies one of the largest untapped resource reserves on Earth. Trillions of dollars in oil and gas, massive deposits of rare minerals, and shipping routes that could completely change global trade. In other words, the Arctic isn't empty anymore. It's the next geopolitical battleground, and most people have no idea this race is happening. Why the Arctic suddenly matters. For decades, the Arctic was protected by one thing: ice. Thick sea ice made most of the region completely inaccessible. But over the past several decades, that barrier has started to disappear. Arctic sea ice has declined by over 40% since the late 1970s. And as the ice retreats, something else is being revealed: an enormous amount of natural resources. According to estimates from the U.S. Geological Survey, the Arctic may hold around 13% of the world's undiscovered oil, nearly 30% of its undiscovered natural gas. Think about that for a second. That's enough energy to power entire continents for decades. And that's just the energy resources. The Arctic seabed is also believed to contain rare earth minerals, which are essential for things like advanced electronics, military systems, and electric vehicles. These minerals are already becoming one of the most strategically valuable resources in the world, which means controlling access to the Arctic could mean controlling the future supply of critical technology. And once governments realized what was sitting under that ice, the race began. Russia's Arctic buildup. If one country has taken the Arctic race seriously from the beginning, it's Russia. Russia controls nearly half of the entire Arctic coastline, giving it a massive geographic advantage. And over the last decade, Russia has been quietly transforming its Arctic territory. They've reopened dozens of Soviet-era military bases across the Arctic, but they didn't just restore them, they upgraded them. Some of these bases now include radar stations, missile defense systems, advanced airfields, and deep-water ports capable of supporting military operations in extreme polar conditions. One of the most unusual is something called the Arctic Trefoil Base. From above, the base looks almost futuristic, a massive structure designed to house soldiers in one of the harshest environments on Earth. But Russia's biggest advantage in the Arctic might not be military bases. It's ships, specifically icebreakers. Icebreakers are specialized vessels designed to smash through thick sea ice so other ships can pass safely behind them. And when it comes to icebreakers, Russia dominates. Russia operates more than 40 icebreakers, including several nuclear-powered ones capable of cutting through some of the thickest ice on Earth. The United States, only a few. That difference alone gives Russia enormous control over Arctic navigation, and that control could soon become extremely valuable. The shipping route that could change global trade. Here's where things start to get really interesting. Right now, most shipping between Europe and Asia travels through the Suez Canal. But if Arctic ice continues to retreat, a new route could open across the northern edge of the planet. It's called the Northern Sea Route, and it could shorten travel between Asia and Europe by thousands of miles. Less distance means lower fuel costs. Lower fuel costs mean cheaper shipping, and cheaper shipping can reshape global trade. But here's the catch. Most of the Northern Sea Route runs along Russia's Arctic coastline, which means Russia could control access to one of the most important shipping lanes of the future, and they're already preparing for it. Russia has been building Arctic ports, expanding navigation systems, and deploying icebreakers specifically to support commercial traffic along this route. If Arctic shipping becomes mainstream, Russia could gain massive influence over global commerce. China's Arctic ambitions. Now here's where the story gets even more interesting. China doesn't actually have Arctic territory, but that hasn't stopped them from getting involved. China has officially declared itself a near-Arctic state, and they've been investing heavily in Arctic exploration, infrastructure, and research. They've launched polar research missions and built advanced icebreaker ships of their own. But China's biggest long-term plan is something they call the Polar Silk Road. This is essentially an Arctic extension of China's massive Belt and Road Initiative, which aims to expand global trade routes connected to Chinese infrastructure. If Arctic shipping lanes become reliable, China could ship goods to Europe significantly faster. That would strengthen China's position in global trade and potentially reshape economic power across multiple continents. So even though China isn't geographically Arctic, they're making sure they still have influence there. The US and NATO realization, for years, the United States didn't treat the Arctic as a major geopolitical priority, but that mindset is starting to change. As Russia expanded its Arctic presence and China increased its investments, the US and NATO began to realize something important. They were falling behind. Now the US military has started increasing Arctic operations. Alaska has become a critical strategic hub for monitoring activity across the Arctic region. NATO allies like Norway, Canada, and Denmark have also expanded Arctic military exercises and surveillance. Submarines, aircraft patrols, and radar systems are all becoming more common in the region. But many analysts still believe Russia currently holds the advantage, which means the competition for Arctic influence is only just beginning. The hidden risk. But there's another side to this story. The Arctic isn't just valuable, it's also incredibly fragile. This region contains some of the most delicate ecosystems on the planet. Oil drilling, mining, and heavy shipping traffic could permanently damage wildlife habitats and coastal communities that depend on the Arctic environment. And if geopolitical tensions escalate, the Arctic could become something far more dangerous than a trade corridor. It could become a new military frontier, one where some of the world's most powerful countries are operating in one of the harshest environments on Earth. For centuries, the Arctic sat at the edge of the world map, cold, remote, forgotten. But today, it's becoming one of the most important regions on Earth. Massive energy reserves, new global shipping routes, and powerful nations quietly competing for control. The ice is melting, and as it disappears, a new geopolitical battlefield is emerging at the top of the world. The question now isn't whether the Arctic will shape the future. It's who will control it when it does.